Hi guys, John here from LookSmart Home Inspections right here in New Jersey. And what I want to do here is make a few videos regarding some of the biggest questions that you guys have regarding the home inspection process here in New Jersey and basically the home buying process as well, because obviously the two really mesh together. I was online the other day and I couldn't really find a definitive guide regarding the answer of these questions. So I think it's important that these questions are brought up, and then you guys may be able to find this video and find that guide, and it might give you some clarity regarding the home inspection process, because I know that a lot of times you guys have questions that just go unanswered, whether that be unanswered from your attorney, unanswered from your real estate agent, or also unanswered from your home inspector. So let's take the first question. So the first question we have to answer is, what exactly is a home inspection in New Jersey? Well, a home inspection in New Jersey is simply defined as a non-invasive visual inspection of a subject property. So a home inspection client, is going to pay a home inspector a fee to come into the home and to do a comprehensive visual home inspection of that house. And the important aspect to know is a visual home inspection, right? We're not going to be able to open walls, remove ceiling finishes, remove other things, remove storage, or dismantle components. So it's a visual inspection. And the idea of a home inspection is to bring to light and to explain to the client material defects found in the home. So in New Jersey, a material defect is any defect or deficiency in the home that significantly affects the safety, habitability, or value of that house. And so these are the more major issues in a home. However, a good home inspector is going to go way beyond just describing the material defects in a house. What they're going to do is also include the smaller, mid-sized deficiencies also, along with the material defects, which is the thing that's actually required here in New Jersey. But most of us go the extra mile and do the job in a more comprehensive way because our client wants more information than just the super major issues in a home. Because if we just focus on the super major issues, there's tons of issues potentially that all added up together that can create large, expensive repairs that are needed, later on in this process. So that's basically what a home inspection is. You pay a home inspector, he comes in, he does a visual, comprehensive home inspection of the property, and he creates a home inspection report of the issues that he or she finds in the property. So I want to take this a little bit further in terms of explaining a visual home inspection. So when we go into a house, we're going to be performing a home inspection of the visually and readily accessible areas of the home. And we're going to be looking at all the systems in the home, such as your roof, the exterior grading of the house. We're going to be looking for water infiltration problems, electrical, plumbing, heating, air conditioning, basically top to bottom evaluation of the house. But here's the issue. What happens when we as home inspectors find an inaccessible area? Take, for example, an area under the house, a crawl space that, say, they had an addition put on and that there's no access to. That is what we call an inaccessible area. And here in New Jersey, we're going to document that as being a non-accessible area of the home. And the issue here for you, the home inspection client, is that gives you more risk, because it creates open-ended risk, because wherever the home inspector can't get in or inspect, they're not going to be able to thoroughly or even possibly at all report on the issues that exist in that area. So it's important when you're buying a home to understand if inaccessible areas exist inside the house. And inaccessible areas are important to document for the home inspector and also to understand for the client, because these are the areas of open risk. When a home inspector can't see an area, they can't report on it. So one of the things that you can do before you actually book and schedule your home inspection is to talk to the seller about making all areas of the home accessible and visual before the home inspector gets to the house to perform the inspection. Because if he can't see it, he can't say it, and then he can't report it. And that puts you, the buyer or the client, not in a great position. So you have to take some responsibility too in this process, and to make sure that house, if it has inaccessible areas and they can be made accessible, that they are in fact made visual and accessible. It's crucially important to get the most benefit out of your home inspection. I want to talk a little bit about the home inspection report. So the home inspection report is actually the deliverable. That's what we as home inspectors create for the client. And that's the most important aspect, or the legal aspect, that you're going to use to make your repair list or ask the seller for credits using that home inspection report. So the home inspection report should be super detailed and loaded with pictures of all the issues, not only the material defects or the larger problems, but also of the smaller to medium and smaller type problems also. Because like we said before, those smaller problems, and everything is super expensive today, add up to big dollar items later on. So you as a client need to know everything. I'm not of the opinion that we as home inspectors just go in and do material defects reporting. That, in my opinion, is doing our client a disservice and injustice. They're paying us a fee to do a comprehensive inspection, and what the heck, we're there, we might as well do it. So I pride myself on doing that, and other home inspectors as well. We pride ourselves on doing the most comprehensive inspection that we possibly can, and then create a really detailed report with a lot of photos, right? A report without photos is not going to be very helpful. We need to have a lot of pictures in the report because it helps the client understand the deficiencies that we're talking about. So that's super important. Also, the timeliness in delivering a home inspection report is also important. So a client doesn't want to wait 3 or 4 days or longer to get their home inspection report. A home inspection report from a good home inspector is going to be delivered within 24 hours of the home inspection. Because here in New Jersey, there's always a time crunch, especially now with the shortage of houses on the market. Everything is really stepped up in sort of a time crunch. So the client doesn't want to wait, days for their home inspection report. So the sooner a home inspector can produce a very detailed, comprehensive report for the client, the better off the client is going to be. So the home inspection report is super, super important, but that's not the only aspect of the home inspection. The client is there typically during the home inspection, so they're going to digest what the home inspector has said verbally, look at the issue in person, have the report, read the report, and be able to see the photos in the report, and then get a full understanding of the defect that they're looking for. So hiring a home inspector who does a comprehensive and very detailed report, who takes pride in that reporting, is crucially important for you, the home inspection client. I want to talk a little bit about what is attorney review. What is the attorney review process here in New Jersey? This process is where, after you get your offer accepted, 2 attorneys, one for the buyer's side, one from the seller's side, are now going to negotiate the real estate contract. And this typically takes 3 or 4 days, and they're going to go back and forth and make changes to the contract. This side wants to add this side wants to subtract that. And it's sort of a meeting of the minds between the 2 sides in this attorney review process. So after the attorney review process is over, then the attorney on the buyer side will allow the buyer of the property to have their home inspection. So that is an indication that the attorney review process is over and done with, and now the buyer enters a due diligence period in which they can get the house inspected and do all of the due diligence that they, want to do on the property or the home. So when a client calls a home inspector, the home inspector is likely to ask them, what stage of the process are you in? So the home inspector can get an idea of, hey, is this client ready to go? Or are they still in the attorney review process? Or are they sort of just in that beginning interviewing stage, talking to several home inspectors, learning about, different home inspectors? So what we as home inspectors will generally do is ask, are you in attorney review or are you out of attorney review? So we understand, which stage of this very, sort of condensed process now in New Jersey you are in. Because once that attorney review is over, then your due diligence period starts and the clock starts ticking, and you have a finite number of days to get your home inspection performed. So it's crucially important you as a buyer or a potential home inspection client understand what this attorney review process is and how long it will take. This way you can sort of position yourself well when you come out of this attorney review process and the attorney gives you the green light to go ahead and do your due diligence period. I want to talk now about what is the inspection contingency period. So the inspection contingency period here in New Jersey is the period of time where you as a buyer of a house can perform your due diligence inspections on the home. And generally that is within, take for example, 7 to 14 days. Now I'm of the opinion that the longer time you have to do your due diligence, the better off you as a buyer of a house here in New Jersey is going to be. Now the seller is going to want to limit that period as best as they can. And this is generally a point of negotiation in attorney review. So if it were me, I would be trying to get that period as long as possible, because the longer I have, the more time I have to make good, intelligent decisions after I get all the information back from my inspectors. So the shorter time frame I have, say 5 days or 7 days, I'm really up against a time crunch. And generally that 5 to 7 day attorney review, that 5 to 7 day inspection contingency period is just not enough time to do your due diligence properly. So try to extend that to a minimum of 10 days, better yet 14 days. So that gives you the time to get the information you need. And it's not just getting the inspections performed, it's getting the inspection reports back. It's you being able to digest and interpret those inspection reports and maybe, asking follow-up questions of the home inspector, of the other inspectors that you have in the house. And then you also have to produce a request list back to the seller of the property asking for remediations or credits or whatever you deem necessary as points of negotiation. So this is a crucially important time in the home buying process. And it's up to you guys to understand that if you don't tell your attorney to make this or try to negotiate this further, the seller's attorney is going to make this as short as possible. And if your attorney doesn't understand that you're really adamant on making this as long as possible, you're going to sort of be shoehorned into that 7, 8, 10 day range. And frankly, to me, that's just not enough time. So let's shoot for at least 10 days, better yet 14 days in this inspection contingency period. You're doing yourself a great service if you can get this period extended as long as possible. When should you start contacting home inspectors and start interviewing home inspectors so you can narrow down your list of potential inspectors to inspect the home? And this I'm adamant about, and this I really feel strongly about, is as soon as you enter attorney review, you should be calling home inspectors and interviewing them so you can understand which home inspector you want to hire for your home inspection. If you guys wait until after your attorney review over, that's just not enough time because you're going to lose precious time. But if you start interviewing home inspectors the day you get into attorney review, that gives you 3, 4, 5 days to sort of get your ducks in a row regarding who you want to hire as your home inspector. And that gives you time to ask the right questions and to put the right inspectors and to do the right inspections that are necessary for the house that you're buying. If you wait and the market is sort of very robust, and home inspectors, at least good ones, are going to be really busy. So if we're really busy, you may not be able to get the home inspector that you want to hire. But if you start interviewing those inspectors and you call that inspector and narrow down the list right away, then when you exit attorney review, you can just pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm ready to go. Let's book the home inspection. And there's some home inspectors will actually let you book a home inspection before the attorney review period is over. I've done that many, many times for clients. So then you have your home inspection booked, you get out of attorney review, and you're ready to roll. And I think that's really important because the less pressure you guys are under, and let's face it, here in New Jersey, buying a house today is just a pressure-packed, miserable sort of experience. And it's really difficult, and it's taxing on the mind, on the body. It's just difficult now. So if you can relieve some of that pressure before, and you have your home inspector lined up even before your attorney review process is over, that's one less thing that you have to worry about. So please consider calling your home inspector and getting those questions answered and narrowing down your list of potential inspectors before you get out of attorney review. This is crucially important. I wish more people would do this. My goal is not to make these videos super long, but it's just there to provide some useful information for you guys who are just buying homes or started looking for home inspectors, or in this, sort of this murky water where you're not getting your questions answered properly. I just want to be helpful. And so this is just the first video of maybe several videos regarding some of the things that I think are important. 24 years of experience performing home inspections in New Jersey. And I think I just want to help to educate and to help you guys learn a little bit of something about the home inspection and home inspection process. And my feeling is if I help 1 or 2 people, you know what, this is worth it. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next time around.